Hey, this is Kat from FullMetalRock.com. I'm speaking with Gaurav from the band Eve to Adam. He plays lead guitar. How you doing, Gaurav?
Good, Kat. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You
Good.
guys have released a great new album, Locked and Loaded,
Thank you.
with
Thank you.
a couple singles off that current single called Locked and Loaded. You also had Straight Jacket Supermodel and Immortal.
Yes.
Of all the songs on that album, which do you enjoy playing the most?
Wow, that's a tough question. And I know every band says this, like, oh, we love them all the same,
Right.
And I do. That's not a lie. I do. As far as live, I really like a song on the record called Bender.
I love that
It's kind
song.
of like cool. Yeah, yeah. That's actually one of the first few songs that we wrote for this album. And it's kind of a little different for us in the sense that it's very up tempo. Most of our songs are obviously, they're rocking and kind of riff bass and heavy, but that one tempo wise, we really were trying to do something for a long time like that, and we finally were able to do it. And we actually have been, and I think we will continue to open the show with that song. So it's a great way to get the audience pumped up and let them know what what they're in store for the rest of the show.
That song has an incredible rhythmical cadence to it. I just love it.
Thank you. Yeah,
a
that's what
really
we've
great choice.
been trying to do that for a while. Yeah, we've been trying to do something like that for a while. So we were really happy we finally got to do it. Glad you like it.
So, for you in particular, you have any formal training? Are you self-taught?
I do have some formal training in the sense that when I was a teenager, I studied with a few really good teachers in my area. I didn't technically go to any school for it, but I did study with some really good people, and I grew up listening to all different kinds of music, and that in and of itself, I look at as an education because most of the classic guitar players that we all idolize, they all are into different kinds of music, and most of them actually did not go to school for it. So it's kind of it's a combination of lessons and just listening to music and checking out concerts and different players and picking up stuff from that.
So, say you're driving in your car by yourself. What's on your stereo?
Wow, right now, honestly, recently I've been listening to a lot of pop music. To be honest, I've been trying to catch up with what's going on, in the rest of the world besides our rock world. But as far as rock, it's the usual suspects you would imagine. Everything from the older, really classic stuff like Led Zeppelin and Sabbath to 80s Van Halen into Metallica, and then for 90s, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Tool, all that stuff. So at any given time, those could all be in my iPod connected to my stereo.
Sweet. I love all those bands, of course. Um, so, where do you draw your inspiration from then when you're writing? From those bands, or do you have other things that you are drawing tell me about the writing process, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's everything. Obviously, it's all these bands, as well as of course, it's so hard to pinpoint even 10 bands that you love. So it really depends a lot on what we're listening to at the time. A lot of it also depends on sort of filling in gaps of what we haven't done on previous records. Like, for example, the Bender example I used before. We've been trying to do a faster paced song for a long time, never really had the right idea going, and then finally it just sort of clicked. So it's a combination of, what you're listening to at the time, just what's been ingrained in you throughout years of, whatever band that you grew up on, as well as what you're trying to push forward and achieve. Some sort of song you haven't done before, tempo-wise, feel-wise, lyrically, vibe-wise, whatever. So it's a combination of all those things. It's really different every time.
Now, does the whole band participate, or are there just a few main players in the writing process?
Usually, well, it sort of changed on Locked and Loaded, interestingly enough, in the sense that before that, it mainly was me and Taki, the singer. He does all the lyrics and all the vocal melodies, and that's that's his forte. He's fantastic with that. And I'm sort of the background music riff and sort of chords guy, which is the sort of classic way that a lot of the bands that we grew up do it. The guitar player noodles around, comes up with music, and then whatever inspires the singer to actually write some lyrics and melodies, that's how it comes about. On Locked and Loaded, we wanted to actually expand on that, and for the first time ever, we wrote with people outside the band. So I'm not sure if you've done any reading up on that as far as who we worked with, but we worked with some amazing people on this record. We wrote 2 songs on the record with Eric Bass from Shinedown.
Yeah.
One of those songs being Straight Jacket Supermodel, and the second is a song called What Would You Kill, which are sort of the two. Since you're familiar with the record, Kat, you'll sort of attest to the fact that those are like sonically the ones where we pushed past the sound of the previous records, as far as like there's like some kind of 9 Inch Nails like synthy samples, and almost a machine-like industrial feel to some of it, along with, of course, the other core elements of the sound, being the guitars and Taki's voice and such. So we did those 2 songs with Eric. He was amazing to work with. We wrote 3 songs with an amazing songwriter out in California named Dave Bassett, who's written with everybody from Hailstorm, Seven Dust. I'm just scratching the surface. I can't even. Yeah, exactly. He co-wrote Love Bites with Lizzie Hale, which they won the Grammy for. I believe it was last year, or the beginning, or 2013, I believe it was. They won the Grammy for that. So we actually wrote 3 songs with him. Immortal being one of those songs, which was the previous single, which did real well for us. And then we also co-wrote a couple with the guy who produced the album, Elvis Basquet. So we got to work with some pretty serious people and take the core sound that Taki and I create, and get some other input on it from some really, really ridiculously talented people. So we were really excited about that, and I think it shows on the record.
It definitely shows on the record. Like I said before, the record is phenomenal. I love it. And when every song that you've mentioned, it pops into my head, and I can hear the lyrics in my head, and I can hear the guitar. It was such a fabulous album. Anything are on the horizon for you guys going forward now after this album has been out, and any tours coming up?
Yeah. We're getting stuff ready for the fall. We took a little break because we've been basically, we signed with the management and the label that we're with right now in 2010, and basically ever since, we did a record a couple of years ago, toured for another year for that record, and then we put out this one and have been touring on it. So we sort of are taking a break and getting stuff ready for the fall, and if everyone just goes to the social media sites, eastadam.com, the Facebook, all that, as soon as we have all the dates booked, they'll be up. So we're doing a few warm-ups in September, and then we're getting stuff ready for after that.
Are there any favorite tour venues or moments on tour that you'd like to talk about?
The ones that I always go to are because we're a New York band. We were able to play a very legendary and historic theater called the Beacon Theater in New York with Creed. We did 2 nights there. We did Mohegan Sun Arena with them as well, which was our first arena show, which was amazing, because that's sort of when we're all little kids and sort of jumping up and down on our beds with the tennis rackets, instead of the guitars. That's sort of, hopefully someone else did that. Hopefully I didn't just reveal that I'm the only one who did that. But when you're in your room in front of the mirror, lip syncing to your favorite records, the arena level is, at least what I always dreamed of. So to actually get to, be able to step on a stage like that in front of a crowd like that was amazing. Also this year, even just in the last couple of months, we did some amazing, outdoor festivals, which is why, every band like us loves the summer, because you get to go out there and, play with all these great bands, all day. And, people show up, thousands of people show up at noon, and stay until 8 p.m. Until the headliner plays. So we actually, one that pops into mind very recently was, I think about a month ago it was now, we in Wisconsin, we did a big outdoor festival where it was like a 3-day festival, and our day was us and the Pretty Reckless and Live, Cheap Trick, and Aerosmith headlined that night.
Wow.
So we actually, so I actually, it was funny because, quick story on that is just, when we got there, the stage was set up for Aerosmith, meaning like the long, what they call the ego ramp,
Yeah.
The ramp that goes way into the crowd and then on the sides. And, that was all set up. So when we got there, the first thing we did was we had our tour manager find out whether we could actually, use those ramps, or whether it was one of those like, no, that's just for Steven Tyler and Joe Perry kind of thing. And, the people at the festival were like, no, go for it. It's everybody's stage. Enjoy it. So it's really, it's cool because if you look at pictures and video from Aerosmith's performance at that show in Wisconsin, the same long catwalk that Steven and Joe were walking on, Taki and I got to run around that same ramp, a couple hours before that.
How
So
sweet
yeah,
is that?
yeah. What's
So
that?
I said, how sweet is that?
It was very sweet. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So yeah, those are some of the, there have been many, but those are some of the the ones that pop into my mind right away.
Are there any places that you haven't played yet that you want to play?
You know what? There's some places. I don't know. I think in New York, there's definitely some place. Look, if you're talking about ultimate places to play, I'll just throw out like the obvious kind of dream one, which is, especially being a New York band and I grew up in this area, to play Madison Square Garden. I think that's what I think that's what anybody who really who really has dreamed about doing what we do for a long time. That's sort of the pinnacle. And we'd love to definitely do some some of the festivals overseas and things like that. Another thing, growing up, being a huge rock fan, the big venue overseas, for example, in Japan, the Budokan Arena. There've been historic live albums recorded there, and that's that place is still alive and rocking. So that would be an amazing place to play. So I'm throwing out like the ultimate.
Right, exactly.
Venue.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
So, is Madison Square Garden would be the ultimate dream for I think anybody. Do you see yourself there in a few years, or do you see yourself there even sooner?
God, that's a good question. It's real. It's always been really hard to get there. It's gotten even harder for various reasons in the last few years. So I don't know. I don't know if we will ever get there. But that's that's always one of the always one of the things in the back of my mind that that keeps us going.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you keep putting out albums like Locked and Loaded, you're gonna get there.
Thank you. I hope you're right.
So, we've talked about some of the bands you've toured with. You mentioned Creed. That had to be pretty awesome touring with Mark Tremonti.
Yeah. What was even more awesome was getting to know and become friends with Mark Tremonti, because he's actually a better person than he is a guitar player, and we know he's a great guitar player. So that's that's a pretty good. That's a pretty high compliment.
And do you pick up anything from touring with different bands, different techniques from different guitar players, or do you guys jam together?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned Mark, because he's actually, the one thing that I don't know if a lot of people know about him, is that he is really a huge metal guy, which is why after Creed ended, him and Scott and Brian from Creed started Alter Bridge, because basically a lot of the riffs and music that he would come up with for Creed were too metal or too heavy or too kind of complicated guitar riff based. And so when Creed ended, he was like, great, now all this stuff that he basically started Alter Bridge to get that music heard. And then of course they found Miles Kennedy, and the rest we all know what happened for the last 10 years. They've become one of the most important bands. But he is very much he just loves to play guitar. He has like no matter what the venue was that we played, backstage over the dressing rooms and the this and the that, there was always a jam room where Mark would have a guitar and an amp set up, and you would just, when you would walk by, you would just hear him playing. And on the first or second date of the tour in Chicago, he extended the invitation to come in and play with him anytime. And needless to say, I absolutely took him up on that offer several times, and learned a lot from him. And got to really pick his brain about a lot of things as far as guitar playing and songwriting and the business and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's the very long answer to your question is yes. You always learn something, and that's sort of the kind of biggest example that I can think of a guy who, it's really great to see that after all the success, he really is just like I was joking about before, the kid just, sitting in his bedroom with his guitar and his amp, just riffing out. He is that guy still, and that was great to see.
At 40 years old, he's still that guy.
Yes, he is.
So now, if I told you my sons, who are 6 and 3, do the same thing to your music, how does that make you feel?
Wow. First, old.
That's not what I meant.
Secondly, no, I'm kidding. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's probably, I would say, out of all of the compliments that any musician or artist can receive, I think that's probably the best compliment is to hear something like that. That it means enough to somebody to actually take the time to do that, because of course I think back to what made me want to do that. So the fact that something that we created could cause kids to be inspired and do that is absolutely very flattering and amazing. So thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure. They don't do it to everybody. Let me tell you this. They don't. But when they hear something
great.
that they love, they do. And I was playing it today, and they were both of them, just going crazy. Last time I played it, they were going crazy. And like I said, they don't do it to everybody I listen to. So I listen to a lot of different bands. So it truly is a compliment to you. All right. So finishing up, anything you would like to tell your fans?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank them for sticking with us, and just thank all the radio stations, promoters, festivals, everyone who's had us on. It's really the business is tougher than it's ever been right now, which is why even more we appreciate the support, and of course people like yourselves who take the time to let us know that people are listening, and that it does matter what we're doing, and we're doing it for a purpose other than just, for ourselves. So, thank you very much, Kat, as well. So to the fans, yeah, just thanks for your support, and, we will see you soon.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you on behalf of FullMetalRock.com. We wish you the best going forward and with your tour coming up. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thank you very much, Kat. Thanks a lot for your support and your kind words, and tell the kiddos we said hello.
I will do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kat. Take care.
All right, take care.
I am immortal. I'll never fade away. I'm a legacy that lives beyond, far beyond